And we are live. It normally takes a few moments for folks to join. There's a little bit of a delay, but we'll start out by introducing ourselves. My name is Tiffany Hill Cook, and I run a spiritual practice called the Healing Hill. And my practice is all around self love, remembering who you are, healing. And a couple of months ago, I started getting a nudge from spirit, and they were like, you should go live and do readings for people. For myself, I don't know if I'm sure this is true for others, but being able to see somebody who's courageous or vulnerable, or just stepping into their light can inspire others to do the same. So today we have Miss Carrie. I literally just met her within, I don't know, a few minutes ago. I love what is called a cold reading. I love when I haven't met with the person before. I mean, I have regular clients and they are like the foundation of what I do, but I'm really excited to meet with you, to channel messages from your spirit team. If you wouldn't mind, I didn't ask you to do this, but would you mind sharing a little bit about yourself? And then we'll see where to go from there.
Absolutely. So my name is Carrie England, and I live in outside of Des Moines, Iowa, which is the capital of Iowa, on an acreage with my wife and Karen Terrier, two Karen Terriers right now, and a magical one-eyed cat.
Oh,
And I'm a spiritual seeker. I love to write, and I'm just excited about exploring spirit and what my spirit team has to say through Tiffany today.
yeah. I'm curious, as thank you for sharing. As you were, so a variety of things are coming up already. I'm going to have your team hang tight. Because Tiffany, so when I channel, it's like I quite literally leave the building. And so I actually have a question before we get started.
Okay.
Have you always had a connection with spirit? Because
Yes.
I find it fascinating when people have always remembered that connection.
I had it when I was really young, and then I set it aside in my teen years and my young adulthood, and had just
Yep.
revisited
Okay.
that part of me later in life.
Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful. Well, we'll start here then. They want to, and when I say they, the energy is your spirit team. Sometimes your higher self will come forth as well. They have the blueprint of your life. They know why you're here, what you're here to grow or create. But how we're starting is they want you to know that there are no mistakes in life. And they're being really specific about that language, because the energy that I get is almost like, um, hold on just a second. I would line it between shame or guilt around like, how did I forget about you? How were you put on a shelf for for this amount of time? And rekindling that relationship now. Did I miss out on something during that time? Was there something else that I was supposed to be doing during that time? And the answer is no. Quite literally, no. There are no mistakes. There are choices that lead us to a consequence that lead us to another consequence. So then it brings me into a new energy around acceptance. All right, okay, cool. Everything happened for a reason. But now it's almost like an energy around like everybody's already doing laps around this track. I got to catch up. You don't need to catch up. Wherever you are is right where you're supposed to be. If anything, the energy that I feel is almost like very childlike, like a child getting a new toy or discovering, a new tree in their backyard, where it's like, what your beacon right now is whatever brings you joy, whatever brings you excitement, whatever brings you inspiration. The other thing that's coming up as well, and it's interesting that you identify as a writer. Dr. Samantha Cooper also is a writer. So it's just really interesting that you guys share um, that gift. But do know as well, how do I say this? your writing is going to look different than her writing. I get a lot of times in my readings where people know that they're psychic and they're like, well, why can't I do what you do? Well, because we're two different people. We quite literally, your DNA's never existed before, mine hasn't existed before. So they're going to look a little bit different. I don't know how you connect with children, if you do connect with children, but I get I don't know if you've ever thought about writing a children's book, but that energy is coming through right now. Um,
Actually, that's exactly what I've done. So,
Oh, wow. Okay, beautiful. So that's just validating the experience of life that you've had thus far. I will also say as well, um, can is my dog snoring a
nope.
bit too? Okay, cool. Because she's starting to I think she gets comfortable when spirit's here, which it's always here. But um, let's see, I just lost my train of thought. Can we get back to this? Can we get back to the writing component? So I see specifically children's writing, writing children's books. Oh, this is where they were taking me. Another way that is, I don't want to say is necessarily, well, they're saying is unique to you, is your, how sometimes we don't know definitively if a decision is right for us or not. And again, there's no such thing as right or wrong, but for you specifically, it's like a knot in my stomach.
Mhm.
That is what I feel when things are not for me. So if you're moving forward with a decision, and all decisions really have, a an unclear outcome. We may like think that we control it, but we don't really. For you, it's going to be, how do I feel in my body about this decision?
Okay.
That will be, and here's the beautiful thing, you can make a decision and then almost instantly you're going to almost feel like sick, nauseous. That would be kind of the feeling. Then then say, well, make a different decision, and it's almost like that energy will be removed almost immediately. So yours is definitely, I would almost connect it to being psychic and being claircognizant, which is like a feeling gets impressed on you. They even said that it happens in conversations, that you'll be speaking with somebody and you just get information given to you about the scenario, really details that weren't given to you, but all of a sudden, I would say you're clairvoyant as well. You get imagery. All of a sudden, you get this feeling and almost a story being told to you at the exact same time, which is really beautiful. Um, let's see here. Let's see here. What they're sharing as well is there might be some, what may be helpful to you in really stepping into your gifts is giving yourself permission to do so. They're saying that there's still some, with uncertainty can come fear, or fear of judgment, fear of even like doing it wrong, which there's no wrong way to do it, but all of these, I mean, I've experienced, I may experience again. And so it may be helpful. An exercise that may be helpful is when you start to have those feelings of uncertainty, um, would be to ask yourself, who in my life portrays the same behavior?
Hmm.
How
Okay.
they're describing it is that it's actually gonna be legacy, legacy energy, ancestral energy
Uh,
that is actually, came from mom or it came from dad. And so the beautiful thing in that moment, or even they just brought up, maybe it's school, maybe there was some teacher that really impacted you, um, and those, behaviors really helped you, but up until this point, they're not helpful anymore. They're actually limiting your soul expression. So you may ask, who does this? Oh, my mom does this. And so you can say, thank you so much, but I release this energy. And when you release the energy, what is important to do, it's not going to be a deal breaker, is to call, like, so you've released it, is
okay.
to call in the energy that you want. And whether that be freedom, whether that be trust, whether that be pride, whatever the core value is that you're seeking, call that in at that time. Um, they specifically said you're an excellent lover. So let's see, what do we want to know about that? What do we want to know about that? They just said that there's moments that you may still limit the amount of love that you could give in a moment, based off of whether it be um, okay, well, it's based off of a past experience that is manifesting physically in the body in a current experience.
Okay.
And so, whether, again, being dismissed or, I mean, love, there's a lot of vulnerability with love, right? And so, but they want you to know that you're a ferocious lover. I could even see you, I don't know if you've ever written a children's book about love and what love is, but I could see that even coming through. And that also being able to create a healing, almost a cathartic experience for you as well. Um, yeah, so it's almost like the energy is like, it reminds me of my childhood a little bit. It was like, the people that were supposed to love me, the older I got and the more awareness I got, it wasn't necessarily love that I was receiving in those moments. Even though I was being told that it was love and, perceived it as love, it really wasn't unconditional love. There were some conditions or expectations put on you in order to align with that frequency, even though it's unconditional and there shouldn't be any conditions upon it. Uh, let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see here. Would you describe yourself as like a doer?
As a doer,
A doer.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because that's the energy is like, I'm like, we got stuff to do here.
Yeah.
And so what they're sharing is they're rooting it back into what we started initially. If you have inspiration, if it's you find yourself excited about something, honor that. But they're saying that it might be a skill set to develop of like just sitting and being and just, yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, that yes. Okay.
So this would be like a cool exercise. So we talked about the energy, right? An energy that came from somewhere else.
Mhm.
Who, if you were just sitting on the couch, let's say watching TV, who in your past would have created an energy associated to that experience as not valuable use of your time?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's what came to my mind. You could not be sitting around idle ever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, because also, and you may very well know this, but when we are in, how do I want to describe this? We've got essentially two states of existence. We can be in a state of fear or we can be in a state of love, and one's going to be expansive. When we are in states of fear, and fear can look different, and the emotion of fear can show up in a variety of ways, but we're not even actually able to grow at that time. The cells can't regenerate. We don't sleep properly. A lot of times our diet starts to be impacted. Like for me, I'm an eater in those moments. Other people, they can't even stomach, they can't even create an appetite. And so they would just encourage you, because, okay, they would encourage you to find some activities, whether you even give yourself 30 minutes a week. They would love you to do it 30 minutes a day, where you find nothing to do, no thing. Actually, they even, nope, they're altering it a little. Doing something that is selfishly just for you. Oh, hi, sweetie. Who is this?
This is Gypsy.
Ah, hi, Gypsy. Oh, this is the one-eyed
Yeah.
cat. Oh, hi, Gypsy girl. Oh, she's beautiful. That's a tabby, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, she's beautiful.
Thank you. So
Um,
and it's
yeah,
doing
please. Something that is just for you. Not even like, I want a nice meal, so I'm gonna cook dinner for my wife and I, but, like, quite literally, what is something that is exciting for just Carrie? And it may even be that you can Google these, like, this would be an easy Google search, but you could Google, like, 30 ways to heal your inner child, and it may be like, I made a video on this recently where I bought slime for myself.
uh-huh.
I was just excited to slime, and it was, like, not something I had access to as a child. It was too messy, it would get dirty, what
Right.
have you, and so it may even be things like going to I don't know, a festival, the fair,
Okay.
something that would unlock giving yourself permission essentially, to do something that really has no benefit. It's not outside of it's
Right.
something that you would enjoy doing. It may even yeah. Um, Something else that's coming up, is and you may already know this, but you do have a psychic ability to connect with animals.
Mhm.
It's yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, like, even if growing up, you always found yourself connecting with them or they found their way to you. You
Right.
definitely have a way to connect with animals, which is really beautiful. It's like it's being around animals, how do I wanna say this? It's like a Xanax for you. It's
Yes.
like it puts you into a peaceful state energetically, which is really beautiful.
And that's
So,
interesting to bring that
yeah.
up. I live close to an animal shelter, and I've been thinking that I wanted to volunteer there, not just for me, because I can go there, be with the
Yeah.
animal.
That would be beautiful. That would be beautiful. And the nice thing is too, what I would say is, um, how do I want to say this? Trying it without putting it into the schedule, if that makes sense.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. Like
Not
as opposed to I'm gonna
for.
before you even started, like I'm gonna do this every Monday for the next 6 months. It's like you don't even know if you like it yet. You know what I mean?
I'll just go and try it and not commit like
Yes.
my life. Or
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like my head.
Well, your spirit team is. That's literally, I how I get it. I get my psychic gift works through the clairs. So, I clairaudient, I hear them. I clairvoyant, I get imagery. Clairsentient is the feelings, and then claircognizance, like clear knowing. So, but it's yeah, not putting it into a schedule. Let's see here. What else? What else? They also are bringing up your hands in the sense that you have a healing ability with your hands as well.
Right.
And so, um, whether it be through writing, whether it be through being with animals, whether it be through your hands on healing, and there's no rules with the hands on healing. So just know that in the sense, like, you don't need to take a course.
Right.
As long as you are leading with light and love, you are just the channel. You aren't even actually doing the healing. That the angels will work through you, so that gives you some freedom as well. But all of those activities will connect you with your soul and
I'm
remembering. Yeah.
a retired nurse, and I
Oh,
always knew that I was had a healing presence. Maybe I wasn't the smartest nurse, but I was definitely the most empathetic and compassion. Very compassionate and just being present. I know how to hold space for people when they're sick or when they're dying or when they're in times of joy, whichever.
yeah. Yeah. Thank God for nurses. Sincerely. I have really great health, but my God, when I am not well, it's like thank God for these individuals who are volunteering their energy in the form of time, for the wellness of others. Yeah, so thank you for that. Where are we? Okay, so we've got what I'm getting is that do you have some specific questions? Because I would love to answer some specifics if you have them.
Well, you've already answered the question about the writing, so thank
Okay.
you for the
Okay.
and you've also touched on some of the gifts that you think that I might have, and I am really wanting to channel and work more
Mm,
on channeling. And
okay.
occasionally, a couple times in my life, maybe more, I've been able to sit down and do some automatic writing, and I felt like I channeled um, some messages through that. I know for me, it's just setting aside. I have to set aside my maybe my ego and also and just say yes more and just believe more and be okay with
Yeah.
that. I think I'm still sometimes on the fence. Am I making this up? And just knowing that spirit speaks through my imagination, right? I mean, that's what I got to remember.
100%. Yeah. And also just having surrendering um the perception that I control it somehow, because literally the words that are given to me, I'm like, you want me to say that? Like, that doesn't even make sense in this conversation. But when I do, I mean, it's everything for the person. So yeah, trusting. They also say it may be helpful. Like, let's say, how do I want to say this gently? The ones that are the closest to us sometimes have a blocked purview of who we truly are. And so they can maybe put us in a little bit of a box. And so what
Okay.
I mean by that is, let's say you want to start practicing your channeling. If you were to pick like individuals who are immediately close to you, they may not have the same level of openness to it or respect to it. There might be a little bit more judgment. Hi, buddy. Now the dog is here. Of course, they all got to make their debut.
Yeah.
Oh, and who is this?
This is Birdie, Karen
Oh,
Terry. Birdie. Yeah.
oh, birdie. Are they
Yeah.
good bird dogs? Is that where they get where
Uh,
got the name?
Terriers were bred to be rodent to kill hunt rodents actually
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
care of Scotland.
Wow.
Because
Oh, how cute.
she's a good dog. So
Yeah.
yeah, trusting. I know,
And
and
and you may even how they're even describing it is like you're out in public and you just get like, I need to go tell this person this thing.
right,
Like, I
right.
just need to tell like, and it again, it may seem like it's coming out of complete left field. So in that moment, you can go up and just say, "Hey, I have a message for you from your spirit team. Are you open to hearing it?" That's how I always start it, and I would say, literally out of the hundreds of messages I've, delivered, one time was the woman not open to it, and I
Hmm.
just said, "That's okay." What I got was that she was miserable, and she needed to leave her job, and that there was another one waiting for her, but she was just wasn't ready, and so here's the thing, that's totally cool, and so you may even in those moments when you get again, it's gonna start in your gut. I mean, that is where I feel it most for you. It's in your gut and you've got some sort of information. But you may even like, let's say you find a group of 3 or 4 people that are interested in channeling. You may even just come up with different activities like, let's all bring an item that we know the history of, and then
Hmm.
we hand it to one another. And we channel on what the energy is that we get of it, because then you've got somebody who can give you some feedback. Um, the other thing I think that would be helpful when you're doing is just grounding yourself, which is something I do before I meet with anybody. And I literally just imagine um, golden ropes coming out of my root chakra, out of the base of your spine, and I imagine it going to the center of the earth and wrapping around a blue orb. And so I feel grounded in the experience, and I really just imagine then opening my heart. So you may even imagine a gypsy or birdie, and just projecting that love. Because the other thing too, when I'm channeling, like right now, I'm warm all over my body. So that's another way that I know that I'm connected. I can literally, it's a different um it's almost like getting goosebumps. You know that there's that warmth sometimes that goes through the body. That's how I feel. So, but yes, trusting and having fun with it. That
Yeah.
we're just yeah, that we're having fun. Um let's see here. On the book though, some imagery that I do get, and I don't know if you would be open to this, is I see you reading books to little kids.
Oh,
So I don't know if you like, have you published a children's book?
no, I've just
Okay,
written.
beautiful. It doesn't need to be even be published, but I literally see you like how we're doing here on YouTube, literally reading your
Right.
book for others. That can be a way to connect with people.
That's funny. When during the pandemic, when my grandchildren were home having school at home, I would
Yeah.
have a daily Zoom meeting with them and be a character or read a book or I'd have a costume or we do something silly and then when daycares were closed, I had what I call grandma camp. And I would have to say those times brought me the most joy because I'm being silly, we're crafting, we're creating, we're making slime.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
those are the times I'm the most happy.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And that also can be for folks that are watching this can be a way to identify your purpose. When you have warmth, that's your purpose. And sometimes people can connect purpose with this like 15-year trajectory. It's like your purpose is what's happening in the moment. That's what's most important. So I think that's beautiful. They love that for you. Um, let's see, is there any other question or questions that I can get more, maybe even more information on or answer for you?
Well, I'm speaking at the church that I attend. It's a unity church, so it's very open minded, and and I'm speaking on Mother's Day. And it's funny that you talked about writing a book about love,
Mhm.
because think my topic's going to be about love,
Mm.
and the different kinds of love. And I didn't know if um, my spirit team, I mean, generally when I sit down to write, I'll ask them to join me,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
and some inspiration, and
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's kind of what's coming through. And on Mother's Day, and I know not everybody has that kind of a relationship with their mom. Even
Mhm.
myself, years, it was hard for me to pick out a Mother's Day card because none of them described my mom.
Yeah, yeah,
So I know Mother's Day isn't always that a warm, fuzzy feeling,
yeah.
and love for.
I I think that's beautiful. Um, this is a couple of things are coming through, but they want you to know that in the moment you sit down to write, you will get all of this information again. So just know that. But being a mother can also be a chosen role. And
Mhm.
so let's say somebody doesn't, I don't identify or I don't have a physical relationship with my mother, but when I'm seeking that energy, I know where to go find it in a
Mhm.
moment with another woman.
Mhm.
And so it doesn't have to be this, ancestral relationship. We can choose that relationship as well. And to your point, it's the frequency of love that's at the root of it all. And we
Right.
all need love. So I think that's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. How they're describing it is when you are going to be writing that, even when you're giving that, I don't want to call it a speech because it's more of like a blessing. When you're giving that blessing on that Mother's Day, uh, they want you to be really aware of how your body feels in that moment.
Okay.
And how, because that's why they want you to be aware is they're wanting you to remember what it feels like to dance with spirit. And that's literally the words that they used, because sometimes there can be a little bit of trepidation as well, like fearful around what's going to happen when I connect with these entities. Are there bad ones? There can be all of these. Um, uh, I don't want to, I'll say it, irrational fears, but they're your fears. So they are rational. And so they just want you to feel the warmth that will be like, it's essentially love that's going to be circulating through your body. So that way, at a later date, you can say, I want to call in that energy to work on this activity. And
Right.
so that you learn to do it on command, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So they love that for
I like
you.
speak, and it's very energizing for me, and I feel like it's something that I do really well, and that I always get a message that people need to hear. At least someone in the audience needs to hear it, and that's the first thing. But it's not even why I do it. It's just like I have to do it. It's a
Yeah.
calling.
Yeah. I isn't that, and that's same. I have been going on YouTube now for a little over a year. I have 72 subscribers. I love every single one of you because I grew it from nothing. But even when I make the videos, they're for me. It's because one day I'm like, I need to get this information out of me. I don't know who's going to see it, when they'll see it, if anybody's going to see it, because it's for me. And that's the beautiful thing. Yes. Yeah. So um, they love that for you. Absolutely. And they also just want to remind you of the ripple effect that, albeit the immediate impact in that moment is going to be someone sitting there. But what you don't see is that someone who goes home and then has a different interaction with their daughter or with their mother that they didn't have before they had that blessing that you gave them. And then that goes on to influence another person and another person. It's like a candle that never goes out.
I like
It's really,
that.
yeah.
And that's true. I spoke a while back at the church, and just last Sunday, a woman approached me in tears saying that after I spoke before and shared some of my experience getting clean and sober, that she had a daughter in treatment, and that she was so moved. She went, she shared that information with her daughter and said, I truly believe that this woman could do it, that you can do it too. So it was really touching moment.
It's beautiful. And it's through vulnerability, right?
Yeah.
Um, and once I'm an alcoholic,
Mhm.
and I can say that with such ease today, but in the moment when I was coming to the realization that I was, there was a lot of shame I had, a lot of hiding. I was hiding a lot at that point in time, counting the amount of alcohol, the amount of, seltzers that I had. And now I have such freedom from it. There's no shame whatsoever. It's a part of
Right.
me and it made me who I am today. I'm thankful for it.
Me
Yeah.
too. And I think
Yes.
people are always surprised when you can be so candid and share, your journey and what it's like today in a public place, because it's something that's so hush hush and nobody wants to talk about sometimes. So that's
100%. Yeah. Uh, I would say another one of your gifts, how do I want to say this? It's not like, I guess it would fall into the bucket of spiritual leadership. In spiritual leadership, Yeshua or Jesus, he had this gift, and it's not telling people how to live, but it's showing people how to live. And so you give folks permission to live their authentic self through
mm,
your soul's expression.
that's funny that you say that, because Jesus is on my spirit team. He's a
Yeah.
pretty busy guy. I mean, I know he's on a lot of people. He's shows
Yeah, of course.
experiences,
Yeah.
and also been part of my spiritual team,
Yeah.
and I feel really connected to him. And I also feel like what I've learned, is that my role is to shine the light of my experience
Yeah.
on your path, and then give you the grace and dignity to find your own way. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so,
That's exactly their own way. 100%. Um, like when I first discovered God, a tree turned to gold in front of me one evening. And I remember I was just sitting there staring, and it was like I knew no words were exchanged in the form of even telepathically, but I knew the spirit of God existed in that moment. And I
wow.
knew that he was real. Because prior to that, I called everybody idiots that believed in God. And I was like, okay, this is a real energy. This is a real being. And everybody has a different relationship with him,
Right.
and that's beautiful that we all can do that. All right. Well, we're up at a half an hour, if you can believe
Oh,
that.
God, that just flew by, Tiffany.
Doesn't it? I know. It always does. I do want to share though, if you are watching this, please contact me if you would like a channeled reading. I am though taking a slight little break. I found retail space that I'm going to be moving into. And so energetically, I'm just going to put a little bit more energy towards that dimension of my life. And once I get settled, I will absolutely pick this back up. And so it may just be in April. We may just take a few weeks off from doing the live channeled readings. But so continue to reach out to me if you would like one. I will keep your name on a list. I just don't know when I'm going to be scheduling them. And I'm going to be taking you on this journey as well of me, um, you know, creating a healing center. That's like the next part of this path for me. So, which is really exciting. Um, let's see. I would like to give you some final messages from your spirit team. They're almost coming across as cheerleaders. Like I quite literally see pom poms, and so um, and part of it is too. They said that like you're the cheerleader a lot, and so let them be the cheerleader for you. Like let them take on that energy, however you want to use it. But just know that you are never alone. You are always supported. Um, You've got some yummy and exciting experiences coming up. That's the best way for me to describe it. They're not telling me what it is, but it's almost like there's a book called A Course in Miracles. It's like some miraculous things, exciting things are going to be happening. That's
I
like,
study Course in Miracles, so
oh, did you? Okay.
I
Oh,
do.
really? Oh, that's okay, that because that specifically was the wording and everything. So, just some it's like how they describe it is that you've made a lot of deposits, so now it's time for the withdrawals. So now it's time, you've put a lot of energy into this piggy bank. Now it's time for you to receive it. And the best way to describe it too is like if somebody offers you something, but your first thought is, I couldn't possibly pay them back, or how could I possibly return it? Then reframe it and just say yes. Like you said earlier, just accept it. Like not everything has to be tit for tat. And so sometimes like there might just be a really large offering that somebody presents to you that um it feels good for them to give it to you and just to receive it without any, tally of giving it back. Um uh, again, they just are reiterating like connecting with your heart, doing things that bring you joy, and that will be your beacon. Yeah. Yeah. There we are. Well, thank you
Thank
so much for joining us and sharing your energy and being vulnerable and courageous.
thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you all for joining us. I do have one more live scheduled for next Thursday with Miss Claire. Hi, Sandy. Oh, it's good to see you. Oh, you're so welcome. I'm going to try something here. Okay, cool. I can add the comments to the page. So beautiful. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Mhm.